Okay, let us start. So we have got three main applications provided by Selenium. One is Selenium IDE, which we have seen in the last week. Okay. And number two is Selenium WebDriver and Selenium RC. Okay. So these are the three applications which are provided by Selenium. This is the one, Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, and Selenium WebDrive. The people behind this who have developed it, they developed it with an understanding about the other tools which are available, the functionality of other tools. Based on that, they developed the Selenium tool, which is compatible with multiple technologies. Okay, so Jason was the one who has developed this in the year 2004, and these are the Selenium RC compatible browsers which are associated. We have got Chrome and other browsers which are compatible. So we can write script and we can run it on multiple browsers. One script can work on multiple browsers. Only thing is like we should change or shift the drivers of it. Okay. Then we have got Selenium Grid. Okay. So Selenium Grid is your writing script which can be executed on multiple platforms. It can be Windows, Linux, or Mac operating system, where we have got all the browsers installed. Okay. So IDE, the first one what we have discussed, Selenium IDE, basically it's a small application which is used for only recording and playback. We can record, it records all the actions, and you can play back, it performs the same action on the application under test. We don't have scripting involved in this. Okay, that is about Selenium IDE. Then we have got Selenium WebDriver. This is your Selenium WebDriver, is the one which we are going to use it. Selenium RC is for running script on multiple platforms. Okay, so the one which is taught to you is Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium WebDriver requirements are, you need your Eclipse IDE, number one. Number two is you need drivers. And number three is your application exe files. That is browser exe files are required to work with WebDriver. So you can see here, these are the supported technologies, like we have got C#, we have got Python, we have got Java, and we have got Ruby. These are the ones which are compatible languages on which your Selenium works. It can be scripted by using these technologies. Okay. So normally when we are writing any Java code, now it refers to the library. We call them as Selenium library. Okay. So Selenium library is based on JSON file, which has got request and response. So whenever we make a call, your Selenium library, it is going to perform post and get methods. Internally, it is using post and get methods, but normally we'll feel that we're using only methods. Okay. So what it does, it will make a call to your drivers. These are your Selenium drivers for browser, and these are your exe files, executable files. Okay. So when you're writing your script, that script will make a call to JSON files, okay, which is nothing but your library, Selenium library, and which in turn communicates with WebDriver to perform tasks on your browser. Okay. So there are a few points which we should know. That is, when do you go for automation? Number one is, if you're testing only one time testing, then we go for manual test. But if you're performing a repeated test again and again, then we go for automated. Okay. We go for manual testing if it is one-time testing. We go for automated if it is repeated test. Assume that I have to test a website 10 times or 100 times. Rather than doing it manually, I'll go for automated. Okay, so in automated, what is the advantage? We can perform one set of actions. If put it in a loop, it will call multiple times. That is the advantage of using automated tool. Okay, when to use automated? Basically, when we have got multiple time execution, then only we go for automation. Okay. Advantage of automation, we don't have to perform the task again and again. One time you perform, it will be easy for you to perform it next time onwards. Okay. So criteria for automation, we should have tools available. Okay, if you want to perform a test, we need tools. Manual testing does not require any tools, but automated testing, we require tools. Let us go with introduction to Selenium. Okay, what is Selenium? It's basically an automated tool. It's an automated tool. It is a set of libraries which can be integrated with the help of Eclipse or with the help of any IDs which are available, where we can write our Java code. Okay. So Selenium, when anyone is asking what is Selenium, Selenium is basically an automated tool. Okay, it is not a separate tool, but it is part of your IDE. So we can install and configure it not separately as a software. We should just include our add-ins. Add-ins is nothing but libraries. Okay, so use of Selenium, basically it can be integrated with your languages, multiple languages, based on which we can make a call to the built-in functions and built-in methods, so that we can perform action on application under test. When Selenium can be useful in testing, basically whenever you want to go with automation, then we go for Selenium. Okay, features of Selenium, you can record the actions, you can play back, you can write your script and perform the actions. There are different ways by which you can make use of Selenium. The advantage is automation process. Okay, what all things are needed for this? Number one is your any IDs required, like IntelliJ, Eclipse, okay, or VS Code. These are all different IDs. So these IDs should be configured with libraries. So when you include by default Java, what happens is a Java set of libraries will be available. I'll show you that practically. Let us check this practically. So I'm just going to activate Eclipse. This is your Eclipse. Okay, where I'm going to show you where your Selenium add-ins are applicable. Okay, so when you activate your IntelliJ or Eclipse, it's getting activated. You can go and check by default what are the plugins or what are the libraries that are available. Basically, should be provided with Java plugins and Java add-ins. Okay, that is referred as Java libraries. So once it opens, I'll show you that. So meanwhile, let us go and check out like what is Selenium. Use of Selenium is automation. When Selenium can be useful in testing, whenever you plan for automation, we can make use of Selenium. Features of Selenium, as well as difference between Selenium and QTP. Okay, so features of Selenium is, as I told you, number one is you can activate your application on browser. It has been designed for only testing web application, not Windows application. It is for purely web application. Okay, so you can write the script and perform the actions. With the help of Selenium IDE, we can record and playback. Whereas here, in case of your Selenium, web driver, we can write the script, we can activate the application, we can maximize the application, we can perform functional operations on it only on websites, not for Windows application. Okay, so all latest development, whatever is happening, it is on web applications. So that can be used with the help of your Selenium. Okay, difference between Selenium and QTP. Selenium is purely for web, whereas QTP is for web as well as Windows. It is a HP product. QTP is HP product, which is license is required for this, whereas Selenium does not need any license because it is open source. Okay. Then we have got components of Selenium. Let us see. These are the components: Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid, and Selenium. So this one is basically for Android-based application. We have got Selenium or Android. Okay. So we have got IDE, which is only for recording and playback. RC is for remote execution. If you want to run, let's say on one system, 100 users, 100 users, 100 users. So we can perform load test, performance test, and stress test with the help of Selenium RC. Multiple tests can be executed at one go with the help of Selenium RC. Selenium WebDrive is the one which is compatible with Java. So we can add up your add-ins and libraries, and we can make a call to your Selenium WebDrives and execute it on any browser-based applications. Okay. Selenium Grid is to have parallelly, you can run on multiple browsers. That is Selenium Grid. Okay. The one which we focus out of this all is only Selenium WebDrive, which is for web-based application. Okay. Then let us see how exactly we can configure your Selenium IDE as well as dev scripting. Okay. Recording a script, running the script, how to save and record the script, object identification with the help of your, as I told you, every object can be identified with the help of locators. So that locator concept we have to see here. Difference between test case and test suite, language support while recording, synchronization in Selenium IDE, testing versus Selenium IDE. Okay, when to use Selenium IDE and why why components are used using recording tool. We'll see that. So let me just go to your Eclipse IDE and show you the default plugins which are available. Okay, let me show you that. So this is your Selenium on your Eclipse IDE. Okay, if you see here, you can find JRE system library, JRE system library. Okay, 1 minute. Got stuck, I think. Okay. Just a minute. Is it coming? No. Okay. Now it should come. Okay. So here, if you see, you have got JRE system library. This is your Java library that is available. Java library. Okay. So if you configure your Selenium, you should be able to get this reference. That is reference library. Normally, you'll have your Selenium library displayed like this. Okay. When you expand it, all your Java related library files will be available, all Java related. Okay. But when you configure your Selenium, you'll have Selenium reference library where you can check, you'll be having Selenium being configured here. Okay. So the difference is when you're creating a Java application or Java program, we can run only Java applications and program because we have got limitation of your Java libraries, which are called as system libraries. But when you come to your Selenium and when you configure your Selenium, you'll have reference library. Apart from your JRE library, you'll have even reference library. Okay. And you'll also have Maven dependencies. Maven dependencies. Okay. So we can configure our Selenium with reference to Maven dependency, or we can even refer to our reference library. There are two ways by which we can refer to your Selenium. One is Maven dependency, and number two is with the help of reference library. Okay. There is one more way by which you can refer to Selenium. It is with the help of your net connection or web connectivity. Okay. So let me just show you about this one, Maven dependency. When you click on this and navigate to pom.xml, there is a file called as pom.xml. It will be available in source pom.xml. Okay. So here, if you see, pom.xml will be having dependencies. Okay. There is one file called as pom.xml file. Okay. So in this file, you'll have all the list of tags. This is your XML file. So let me show you how exactly it works. Okay. So we are right now referring to Maven repository. Okay. So let us say this is a repository called as Maven repository. This is your Maven repository. Okay. I'll name it as Maven repository. Okay. Maven repository. Okay. So in Maven repository, what do we have is your XML, XML, EXML will say. E is smaller case, which stands for extended markup language. Okay. EXML, XML file will be there, which is named as POM, POM, pom.xml, pom.xml. Okay. So this will be available in your Eclipse IDE. Okay, so I'm talking about Maven repository, and we are mainly focusing on XML file, that is pom.xml. Okay. Now, what do we have here? Let me explain. On your website, okay, this is your website, we'll be having Maven repository available. Okay, so let me just give you references. Here we'll have references, REF, to Maven repository. Maven repository. Let me show you that. Okay, so I'll go to browser. Okay, and I'm searching for Maven repository. So Maven repository. Okay, this is the Maven repository, and this is the website where we can find Maven repository. I'll just copy and paste it here. This is your repository, which is online. Okay, and this is the URL for activating your Maven repository. Okay, so in Google, if you type Maven repository, you'll get the link. You can click on the link where you can find dependencies. Okay, now if you go and cross check, I would like to go for Selenium with Java combination. Okay, so when I click on this Selenium Java, okay, I would be able to get a list of all the different versions which are available. Okay, let us say I want to go with latest version 4.21 is the latest version. I'll click on this. When you click on it, it is going to show you that particular version's files. Okay, you can see here there is pom.xml jar file is there. These are the two things by which we can download and configure. Okay, and we have got dependencies. I can just copy this. I can copy this and I can paste it inside pom.xml. Okay, so this is your pom.xml. I would, let's say, for example, I can come here and I can mention our dependencies. These are our dependencies. These details, if you mention in your pom.xml file, we don't have to install or do any configuration of your software. Okay, we don't have to install it. It will by default collect it from this dependency list what we have given. Okay, so this has to be given where it has to be given in pom.xml file. Okay, this content has to be given in pom.xml file, this file. Okay, so once you just copy and paste it and save pom.xml, all the required Selenium libraries will be automatically installed onto your Eclipse IDE. It will come automatically in your Eclipse IDE. I can come here, go to pom.xml. Already we have got the Selenium dependencies. Okay, it is 4.19 is there. If you see here, this version is 4.21, latest version. So I can copy this. I can come here in the list of dependencies. You can find here we have got Selenium dependency. I can come here, hit enter, and I can paste that same code over here. Dependency org Selenium HQ, Selenium HQ. You can see this is the old version. 4.21 is the latest. This one is the old version. So when you're doing this, the older version should be deleted. Okay, older version I have deleted. Latest version details we have updated. Okay, so once you're done with this, Control A to block it, and you can even align this properly. Okay, if you want, you can align it or not required to align it. Okay, so we have got the shortcut for this for indenting. I think it is Control Shift and I. Sorry, Controlled Alt and I or Control Shift I. No, it's not working. Or else you can go here to your option. Okay, your source, we can make use of the option here to align. Okay, Let me just show you here. Project, run properties, design properties, window. Help. Source format, you can see here. Source format, it is Control Shift F. Control Shift and F to format it. Okay. So let us try to do that. Control A to block it. Control Shift and F. That got aligned. You can see it is aligned properly. Okay. So Control Shift F. Let me mention that in our here. Control Shift and F. I'll mention that. This is for aligning. Control CTRL. Control Shift and F. F. Control Shift F. That is for aligning, okay, or formatting. So once you format, it will be properly indented, and we can just perform a save. Okay. So to save it, Control S is to save. So this is for formatting, and this is to save. Control S is to save. So let me save this. Once you save, see what happens. Once you say Control S, you can see immediately, you can see build, you can see 94. It is installing that. At the bottom, you can see it is installing. It will take some time. It gets installed and configured with the latest version, and you would be able to work with the latest version. Okay. So it is still doing that. Once it finishes to 100%, you will be able to work with the latest version of it. This is the easiest way to configure your latest version in Eclipse. Go to Maven repository, copy dependency, come to pom.xml, paste it and save it. Okay, what it does, it will update your Eclipse IDE with the latest version of Selenium. Okay, this is one way. Other method is download the jar file. Okay, so I'll just go back to the same repository which we have searched for. We search for this. Here you can find your jar file. Okay, jar file. When you click on it, it will start downloading the jar file. You can see it is downloaded the jar file. It is downloading still. Okay, so if you want to cross check, you can click on the download. Okay, and you should be able to see that your Selenium jar file is getting downloaded 4.21.0. 4.21.0. Okay, so this is second method. Second method is having some complications. You can download it, you can configure it, but additional configuration is required if you're downloading your jar file. That means a lot of dependencies will be there, a lot of configuration is required. It becomes little complicated if you're downloading your jar. Even that also works, but lots of configuration are required. Okay. Now here, when you just copy the dependency and paste it, whatever is required, whatever is supposed to be configured, it does automatically. Okay. So either you select jar file and do it, or you go with your dependency in pom.xml and save it. It is one and the same. Okay. One more method is there. I'll show even that also. Now the question is why they are giving so many options. There are different people who work with Java in different ways. Okay, either by using your notepad or by using IDE or by using IntelliJ or VS Code, different options they have. So similarly, here also we have got different ways of approach by which the configuration can be done. Okay. So which one is easy you feel, jar file or this one? Jar file I've not shown you. Right now, this is easy. Just copy paste in pom.xml, save it automatically. Everything, whatever libraries are required, those libraries are downloaded. Okay. So this is over. Let us check in your Eclipse first. Now you can see the build is still going on. Okay. Download source and Java docs. It is still downloading. It will take time because it requires configuration. That means what it is doing, it is downloading your Selenium, downloaded even Java is already there. So it is integrating that. Okay, automatically the integration happens. Whereas in case of your Java separate and then Selenium separate, we have to do that integration part of it. Okay. All right, so let it go on. I'll just minimize this and let us switch to the one which I have defined here. This is your Maven repository. This is the website of your Maven from where you can download your software that is needed. Okay. and it has to be accessed from where? From the browser environment. This is the URL. As a result of this, your Maven related dependencies are copied onto your IDE. Okay. So this is where it is getting copied. So I'm just giving the circle as IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay. IDE. So I'll just mention that. That is our IDE, where your relevant files are copied and stored. This IDE can be Selenium. It can be any IDE which is available. IntelliJ, Selenium, or VS Code. Okay. These are the three commonly used one. Even you have got for Python, we have got PyCharm. Even that can also become an IDE where we are writing code in Python. Okay. All right. The process is same. Process is copying and pasting it pom.xml, downloading your jar file. Let us check whether jar file is downloaded or not. So I'm going back to browser. You can see the download. Click on it. You can see here. Go to your location where it has been downloaded. It will be in the download folder. So download folder is opening up. Let us check that out. Okay. So let me go to download folder and check for the file which has been downloaded at this location. You can see this is the file. Okay. So this file needs to be configured. So to configure it, you can go back to Eclipse. Okay. Let us say I want to configure it in this particular place. So I can select the project name, right click on this. Okay. Right click, a menu appears. Okay. And in the menu, we have got build path, configure build path. Okay. This has to be selected only when you're configuring your jar file. Okay. So build path, configure build path. You select this, a window gets populated. Here we have got libraries. Already we have got the libraries available. But if you want to add your jar file, which is there in the download folder, we can click on add external jar. Add external jar. Click on this. Go to your download folder. Okay. Download folder has got the Selenium jar file, which is pointing to 4.21. Select it and then you say open. So as a result of that, you can see the latest version has been installed and configured. Okay. So once you're done with this, you can say apply and close. Apply and close. It will apply and it will close it. Okay. So this does not mean that it is downloading it. It is just already downloaded. Jar file is there. You know, jar file contains what? Classes. Class file contains what? Methods. Methods contain what? Actions. So what we did is we just downloaded the jar file and we have configured that with your build path for your Eclipse. So it only refers to that whenever it needs, it will refer and it will be able to extract it. This is second method of working with your Selenium. One is with the help of your pom.xml. Number two is with the help of jar file. These are the two approaches. Okay. So let me just expand your files. These are all different files which are there, which are Java files. Now in the Java file only, we can directly configure your import statement. You can see import. This import is going to work when your dependencies are installed or your jar file is configured. Import will work only if Selenium is provided to your IDE. There are two ways I told you, three ways are there. Two ways I have told you. One is with the help of pom.xml. Two is with the help of jar file. Three is with the help of import statement referring to website. Okay. So this one import will work only when you have got your pom.xml configured or your build path is configured to jar file. Then only this import is going to work. Or else it will throw an error. It will show this with red indication. A line will be displayed, which means your Selenium related files are not properly configured and downloaded. Okay. So import, if it works, it will not show you any error. Okay. If import is not working, it will show you a line, a curly lines will be displayed to indicate that that particular drivers or that particular plugins or libraries are not available in Eclipse IDE. Okay. So that we have to check. So I have told you how to download with a reference to Maven repository. Okay. That is with the help of dependency tag in pom.xml or downloading your jar file from the same place. Two ways of approach. Okay. Third approach we'll see when we are doing the coding part of it. Okay. Where we just have to refer to a library file which is there running on some website, Git repository. There is something called as Git repository. So we only refer to that. Whatever plugins, add-ins, drivers are required, everything is available over there. Okay. But problem is you need net connection for that. If net is not there, your code will not run. That is one problem when you're referring to Git repository. But when you're referring to Maven, two options I told you. Maven referring to pom.xml. Everything is there downloaded on your system. So we don't need net connection for that. Number one. Number two is you're referring to what? Referring to jar file. Jar file, once it is downloaded, everything is there on your system itself. So we don't need additional net connection. So for this too, we don't need net connection. But when you're referring to Git repository, the third approach, you need net connection. Without net connection, it will not work. Okay. So if you're testing locally, if you're not having net connection, only once you get net connected, download all the required files, disconnect it. You don't need anything from your internet. So we can disconnect that. But as I told you, we are going to test what? Only web application. Then you might have a question, sir, when we are disconnecting net, how we can run web application? So to run your web application, we have given a sample that is XAMPP file. XAMPP file will run your website locally. So I don't need internet connection to run our XAMPP files. XAMPP is like a simulation of website. Okay, where we can run our HTML files, scripting files and all, we can run it locally. For that reason, we install our Apache Tomcat web server and we have got MySQL database. If you get net connection, we have to register the domain. We should have MySQL on that and we have to configure it. So if you're testing live application, then only we need net connection. If you're testing live application with live Selenium, referring to Git, then we need net connection. But when we are running it locally on local host on XAMPP server, we don't need internet connection. That is a difference between them. Okay. The first two options will run on local. It can test on local website. The third one, which is there, which is referring to repository, that requires internet connection. Okay. Remember, three ways of approach: two approach locally, one approach with the reference to your website. Okay. If you're testing live websites, then we need net connection. If you're not testing live websites, if you're testing within the company, within the organization, then we work with XAMPP or any web server running locally or IS server working locally, and we test it here itself. Once the testing is over, we can deploy the website onto domain